First, so in order to give the permission, blessing of this Manjushri Jenang, I have to do the preparatory practice, and in the meantime, while I do the ritual myself, please recite the Arapasanadi mantra. No. So he's only just recited one verse, which is a verse of auspiciousness in relation to the Buddha. So in Buddhism, we do not accept a creator God. The Buddha himself, Shakyamuni Buddha himself, went through the accumulation of merit and wisdom over 3 countless eons and finally became an enlightened one. And therefore, he does not teach us that there is a creator who is permanent, unchanging. So the Buddha is like a majestic mountain with all the excellent qualities. So this is the first line of the verse that is on recited, and therefore he became a Buddha through the accumulation of merit and wisdom for over 3 countless eons, and by training in the path to enlightenment, and then finally became enlightened under the Bodhi tree here in Vajrasana. And so, by training in the path to enlightenment, what he went through is the purification of all the defilements from within his mind, and as a result of which, the 2 truths, regarding the 2 truths, the conventional and the ultimate truths, he became fully aware of them and overcame all the defilements, and therefore he became a teacher who showed us the path of the truth as it is. And from his own experience, he taught us there is the result of suffering, the truth of suffering, which is the result of the truth of origin of suffering. So, and because suffering comes through that of ignorance, the fundamental ignorance about the reality of things, and therefore he taught also that there is a possibility to develop and cultivate and develop the wisdom which sees the truth and reality as it is, and therefore through that path of realizing the truth and reality of things as it is, we are able to, we would be able to overcome all the defilements from our mind stream, and therefore attain that of a true cessation. So this is very significant, the teaching, the 4 Noble Truths. Sorry. So when you think about, when you say, I take refuge in the Buddha, if you really reflect well on the meaning of it, what you understand is that there is possibility of overcoming all the defilements, all these negativities within that are within our mind, and that there is possibility of attaining the true cessation of all the defilements, and therefore it is in your hands to attain the path, the realizations which brings about the true cessation. And therefore the Buddha said, you are your own master or protector. So through the application of the path, realizing the truth, and reality of things, then you are able to overcome all the defilements from within your mind and attain true cessation. So the quality of the true cessation is attained through the application of the path by understanding and gaining insight into the reality. And therefore, we know that you are your own master in that way. Whereas in the theistic religions, of course, they teach differently, but they are still very good in the sense that they help their followers. But in the teaching of the Buddha, in the tradition of the Buddha, what he says is that you are your own master, because you have to work hard to overcome all the defilements from within your mind by applying the understanding and insight into the reality and truth of things. And nobody can do that for you. So we are gathered here in this very sacred place of Vajrasana. So if you think well, think through, you'll see how powerful this statement the Buddha made is, that you are your own master. Your future, what becomes of you in the future is in your hands, he's saying. So it is not in the hands of somebody else who can cause you to attain enlightenment and overcome all your defilements and the faults, the defective characteristics of your mind that are within your mind. So through your own effort, the Buddha is saying that you will be able to attain the true cessation within your mind, within yourself. So this is a very significant statement of the Buddha, that you are your own master. And the Buddha says that a creator God who is separate from us did not create us. But because of our unruly mind, undisciplined, uncontrolled mind, we are circling in the samsara and suffering. And therefore, you should understand that suffering has its cause, which is the source of suffering, the origin of suffering, and that there is an antidote, that there is a possibility to overcome it, suffering and its cause. And through the application of counterweighting factors, through the application of antidote, and thereby you'll be able to actualize the state of having purified or overcome all the faults and defilements from your mind. So through the application of the teaching within myself, I can see that there is a possibility of overcoming these defilements and attaining the true cessation, the quality whereby you have overcome the defilements within yourself. So when you see that possibility, and through your integration of the Dharma within yourself, then you become encouraged to engage in the path, and in order to attain the true cessation within yourself. So for that, of course, you need to base yourself on the foundation of the practice of the Dharma, which is Vinaya, the monastic, ethical discipline. And on the basis of that ethical discipline, you will be able to build the single-pointed concentration, and with the help of that concentration, you'll be able to develop the wisdom that sees reality as it is. And so through that wisdom, you will be able to overcome you'll be able to overcome all the defilements by applying this antidote to the defilements, and thereby you'll be able to attain the true cessation within yourself. So here we are, monastics and lay people gathered together. So if you reflect well, all these defilements, the faults that are within your mind, can be overcome through the application of antidote to these, and thereby you'll be able to see the possibility of attaining true cessation. And it is in your hands alone. No other person or creator can do that for you. Therefore, you will see the Buddha's teaching to be reasonable, logical, and therefore, having met with this tradition, you should feel proud also. And here, you are not only thinking of doing good for yourself alone, but you are thinking of bringing welfare to all sentient beings, and have this spirit of enlightenment, bodhicitta, within yourself. And so there is this significant encouragement that you give to yourself, inspiration that you draw from this bodhicitta. And so the teaching of the Buddha is founded on such an altruistic attitude to benefit all sentient beings, and therefore it is very powerful teaching as well. So when you develop bodhicitta, the spirit of enlightenment or awakening, though you are thinking of the welfare of other sentient beings, within yourself there is an inner strength and confidence within yourself. You'll be able to see in the interest of the goals of oneself and others, I shall generate the spirit of an awakening. And in order, having generated this supreme spirit of enlightenment, I'll call upon all sentient beings as my guests. And you will be able to see that you are able to, through this spirit of enlightenment, and having called your all sentient beings as your guests, what you are calling them for is to invite them to the feast of enlightenment and the practices of bodhisattvas, which are very delightful. So, having developed this spirit of highest awakening, I will call upon all sentient beings as my guests. And in order to bring benefit and good, excellent fruits to all sentient beings, we should feel encouraged to develop this spirit of awakening, bodhicitta, within ourselves. So, regarding myself, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I recite the verse for refuge and bodhicitta, and I generate bodhicitta within myself. And this gives me great determination and courage to work for others. So, all my brothers and sisters here, Dharma brothers and sisters gathered here, just as I do this, I make the bodhicitta my main practice daily, you should also follow the same. So, it is the essence of the teaching of the Buddha as well. So, there is no greater force than bodhicitta for your own hygiene and health. So when you develop it further, the bodhicitta further and further, you will have greater and greater peace of mind, and that in turn helps to balance the elements of your body, the different humors. And therefore, when you have this good heart of bodhicitta, the spirit of awakening, then you will have good health, peace of mind. And if you let yourself be swayed by attachment and anger and hatred, your physical elements also becomes disturbed. And that is not good for your health as well. And so bodhicitta is the main factor for experience and relaxed and state of mind, and that you feel at ease within. So as I recited these lines, which say that in order to fulfill the aims of myself and others, I should develop the spirit of enlightenment. Having developed the spirit of highest enlightenment, I shall invite all sentient beings as my guests. I shall enact the delightful, supreme, enlightened practices. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So I find this very helpful, beneficial, to have a peace of mind, relaxed state of mind, feeling at ease and having good health and so forth. And therefore I wish to urge you, my Dhamma brothers and sisters, all of you, to have a good spirit or sense of benefiting other sentient beings. So this is very significant. It helps your others as well as yourself. So it is mutually beneficial. So to attain the highest goal for oneself and others, it is this spirit of enlightenment, bodhicitta. And therefore, please think seriously about it. So today we are going to do that of the permission blessing of Manjushri. So as the prayer says, I pay homage to Sri Manjushri, who bears a youthful form, is adorned with this lamp of wisdom, and dispels the darkness of the triple world. And so when you have a good heart, good state, a spirit of enlightenment within yourself, it helps also to develop your wisdom further to benefit other sentient beings. And therefore I do this practice of bodhicitta every day. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I start with this practice of bodhicitta, and I find it very helpful and beneficial. So whatever number of years I may have left to live in this life, I dedicate myself to the practice of bodhicitta. And so through the development and further development of wisdom, of the correct view, I make the bodhicitta my main practice. And therefore, praise. Yeah, so please recite this Arapacanadi mantra. Ever since my childhood, when I visited, even at a very young age, when I visited a temple, I have heard other monks reciting the Arapacanadi mantra. So I heard it first. That mantra was the first one that I heard from monastics. So my the young monks who were with me in Kumbum monastery and then they were reciting the Arapacanadi mantra and making prostrations. So I became very familiar. I heard it from them, and they stuck with me. this mantra stuck with me. So I have this. I'm glad to have this opportunity to do the Jenang blessing, permission blessing of Manju Gosha, which was the first mantra I heard as a child from other monastics. So throughout my life, I have taken Manjushri as my special deity, and have recited this. I recite Arabhajanadi mantra every day, and with the help of this, the wisdom that I have been able to develop through the blessing of Manjushri, I can understand the reality of things better. So for wisdom that sees the truth and reality as it is, please recite this mantra. Om Arabhajanadi. Om Arabhajanadi, 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 Om Arabhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajan, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajan, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, So, this Arabhajana mantra of Manjushri is something that I've been hearing since my childhood. So, since then, I've been reciting this mantra of Manjushri. So I can see that I have quite a good intelligence, which I can see is because of blessing of Manjushri, the Venerable Manjushri. So, as I said before, the Buddha Dharma is a tradition where you use this and your intelligence, so that you are, through that you develop the qualities that you have not yet developed and further the qualities that you have already developed. And so for this wisdom or intelligence, the deity that helps you to develop wisdom is Manjushri, who is the special deity for wisdom. So, as it is said, this is a Mandala Offering in request for the Jenang permission blessing. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I visualize it as a Buddha field, and offer it to you. May all sentient beings enjoy the perfect Pure Land, O Venerable, in the sky of your Dharmakaya forms the clouds of your love and wisdom. In accordance with the whatever is suitable to the mental dispositions of the beings to be tamed, disciples, on the grounds of their minds. May you shower the Dharma, profound and vast, by the sound of the vibrant, the drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings from misery. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. Yedam Guru Ratna Mandal Kamneyatayami. I recited Arabhasana mantra since my childhood. When I was 3 or 4, since then I have been reciting this mantra. In Kumbum temple, the monastery's temple, when I visited it as a child, I saw young monks reciting this mantra, and I was hearing them. So I've been reciting it since my childhood, and it has stuck with me in my mind since then. So when I think of Arabhasana mantra, I feel very close. There was a Lama in Tibet in those old days who was told by some other monks that you are a true, a real Bodhicitta, a Manjushri. And the reply to that from the Lama was that I am not a Manjushri himself, but I am a neighbor of Manjushri, which indicated that he was close to Venerable Manjushri. And so today, here in this very sacred place of Vajrasana, to do this blessing permission of Manjushri, I feel very fortunate for myself, since Buddha Dharma is a tradition in which we should use our intelligence to develop our wisdom and to further develop what wisdom we have. Of course, faith is necessary, but it should be a faith which is accompanied by wisdom and intelligence. So without which it will be a little difficult to make good strides in the path. So the varieties of phenomena, the conventional as well as the ultimate reality of things, by using this mind regarding these, by using our wisdom, we will be able to overcome the mental afflictions, the kleshas, as well as the stains, the imprints left by them, which are called also the cognitive obscurations. So for that, Manjushri is very helpful. And so I've heard this recitation of the Manjushri mantra, Arabhajanadi, since my childhood. When I was in Kumbum, people were reciting it in the temple. As I recited this verse earlier, which is homage to Manjushri, I pay homage to Sri Manjuku, who bears a youthful form, is adorned with the lamp of wisdom and dispels the darkness of the triple world. So, I am able to help people, whether they are believers in religion or non-believers. I've been able to help them quite a bit. As it is said in the prayer, the Lamrim dedication prayer at the end of the Lamrim, the great treatise of Master Tsongkhapa, moved by compassion, may I illuminate this treasure of good and happiness in places where it has not spread before, and in places where it has spread but declined. And so, as I have been saying, I have heard this Arabhajana mantra since my childhood, and therefore I have received a blessing of Manjushri himself as well, but through the recitation and meditation on Manjushri, by reciting this mantra. So you should also make your prayers to Manjushri to be able to receive the blessings, in order that you may be able to develop your wisdom further, so that you are able to understand the teachings in this, contained in the sutras and tantras. Of course, Bodhicitta is very important, but it should be, if it is accompanied by the wisdom, you will be able to make great strides in the path to enlightenment. Otherwise not. And therefore, the wisdom, realizing the reality of things, is very important. So I have heard this mantra of Manjushri. So the first mantra that I have heard of a deity is this one. So from then on, since then, I have taken Manjushri as my special deity, and as a result of which, I am able to benefit people, so many people, and I've been able to help and benefit so many people so far. And so, with the help of the wisdom that you developed through the blessing of Manjushri, you'll be able to see the faults of your own negative emotions and other defilements. And therefore, the mantra of Manjushri is very sacred as well. So in order to do this permission initiation, please repeat this after me. Please grant me the sacred Jenang of Manjushri, who is inseparable from all the Buddhas of 3 times and the primary wisdom of the 3 bodies, and who is a guide to living beings. Please grant me the sacred Jenang of Manjushri. Please grant me the sacred Manjushri Jenang. And then next is, so to do the permission blessing of Manjushri, it comes within the Mahayana, the great vehicle teaching. And therefore, you should not think only of yourself alone, but think of the poor sentient beings, all other poor sentient beings, and particularly beings on this earth who do not want suffering, all of who do not want suffering but want happiness, but they are ignorant about the ways to bring about happiness, and they happily indulge in the practices that bring them suffering, and therefore have a very strong sense of compassion to them, these suffering sentient beings. So all sentient beings, including in the main human beings, of course we cannot do much for the animals, birds and so forth. So they are not able to think broadly due to lack of the kind of faculty that we have for thinking through, reasoning and all that. And therefore, you should do your best to help these ignorant sentient beings with the help of your own wisdom through the blessing of Manjushri. And you should make the determination that by receiving this Jenang, permission blessing of Manjushri, you will do your best in the to practice, to do your practice based on Manjushri and help these ignorant, poor sentient beings. So, with regard to Manjushri, in order to receive this permission in initiation, you should have the correct motivation. You can of altruism. You cannot have selfish motive with the to receive this Jenang permission blessing. So all sentient beings across the expanse of space, without exception, are same like yourself in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering, and therefore what happens with a selfish motive, selfishness, is people do not want suffering, but they, because of lack of this wisdom, seeing reality, how things actually exist, then people kind of indulge in activities and actions that bring them suffering. And therefore, with the blessing, through the blessing of Manjushri, you should be able to understand what suffering is and its cause, and thereby think of helping sentient beings, other sentient beings, overcoming, to help them overcome their ignorance, so that gradually they will be able to dispel or overcome their ignorance. As so, with determination to help others, with the sincere motivation pushed by this altruistic attitude to benefit all sentient beings, make efforts to develop your wisdom that sees reality as it is, and to help other sentient beings, also to dispel the darkness of their ignorance. As the prayer to Manjushri says, I pay homage to Sri Manju Ghosha, who bears a youthful form, who is adorned with the lamp of wisdom and dispels the darkness of the triple world. So have this motivation. Think that I shall attain the state of Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. To this end, I will take bodhisattva vows. So you should have this compassion towards all sentient beings, and therefore say that this is to this end I'll take bodhisattva vows and engage in bodhisattva conducts. Repeat these lines, please. I take refuge in the three jewels, individually disclose all my non-virtues, rejoice in the virtues of all beings, and mentally take up the enlightenment of Buddha. I take refuge in the three jewels, individually disclose all my non-virtues, rejoice in the virtues of all beings, and mentally take up the enlightenment of Buddha. I take refuge in the three jewels, individually disclose all my non-virtues, rejoice in the virtues of all beings, and mentally take up the enlightenment of a Buddha. So, on my part, Bodhicitta is my main principal practice. As it is said, I generate the spirit of enlightenment to fully attain my own and others' welfare. So there is no greater practice than bodhicitta, the spirit of awakening, than to fulfill one's own goal as well as the goal of others. And so this is the main practice. So the Lama is showing you the mandala that is on the altar. Imagine that the statue or the torma in the form or in the front on the altar is saffron colored Arapatanadi mantra, Arapatana mantra, sitting on a white lotus and a moon disk. His orange-red body looks as if it has been struck. It is struck by the rays of the sun. His right hand is brandishing a sword, and his left hand holding a stem of upala flower at his heart. The flower is blooming at the level of his left ear, and on its open blossom there is scripture of Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. He is adorned with the marks and signs of a Buddha, dressed like in silk and wearing precious jewelry. He has the youthful appearance of a 16-year-old. His hair is tied in 5 top knots, and his legs are crossed in the Vajra posture. So when you see the Manjushri in this kind of form, you feel delighted and pleased, and it helps also to dispel the darkness of the three worlds. So Manjushri is in such a form, brightly shining orange color, holding in his right hand a sword, and a double-edged sword, and in his left hand Perfection of Wisdom that is sitting on a lotus. Please repeat this. Please grant me the sacred jnana of the body of Manjushri, who is inseparable from all the Buddhas of the 3 times and the 3 primordial wisdoms of the 3 bodies, and who is guide of living beings. Please grant me the sacred jnana, permission, blessing of the body of Manjushri. So you repeat this line 3 times. And then generate yourself into Manjushri as described here. Om Vajram Amrita Kundali Hanahanam Bam Sabhava Shuddha Sabhava Shuddha Hum. Everything dissolves into emptiness. Now you go through the visualization. From within the emptiness, the seed of syllable pam appears and arises, and lotus and the seed of letter A appears and arises. And moon disk, on a moon disk, on top of the moon disk, your mind appears as the orange seed syllable D, which arises as a sword, double-edged sword marked with the seed syllable D. From the D, rays of light emanate. So this double-edged sword is the sword of wisdom that that cuts at the root, that of ignorance. And from these rays of light emanate, performing the two activities, making offerings to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and benefiting sentiment, that light returns and dissolves into the seed syllable D, which transforms into you as saffron-colored Arapatana Manjushri, whose orange-red body looks as if it is struck by the rays of the sun. Your right hand is brandishing a double-edged sword. Your left hand holding the stem of the upala flower at your heart. The flower is blooming at your left ear, and on its open blossom there is a scripture of perfection, wisdom sutra. You are adorned with the marks and signs of Buddha, dressed in silk and wearing precious jewelry. You have youthful appearance of a 16-year-old. Your hair is tied in 5 top knots, and your legs are crossed in Vajra posture. So because I have been reciting the Manjushri mantra since my childhood, there is some power of truth in my utterance. At the crown of your head is white syllable Om. At your throat, red syllable A. At your heart, blue syllable Hom. With your With this, your 3 places are blessed. From the home at the heart of the Lama, rays of light emanate, inviting the Reverend Manjushri who is surrounded by a host of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They fall on you like a heavy downpour and gently absorbed into your body. This purifies your body from all negative actions and obscurations, and the body of Reverend Manjushri, and your body becomes indivisible. So I've been reciting the Arabhata mantra since my childhood. I still do so. And this wisdom, realizing which is able to differentiate between what is and is not within me. So the wisdom of Manjushri, this wisdom of Manjushri comes down to you in the form of Manjushri's body of Manjushri and dissolves into you. So this is the Jenang of the body. Next is the Jenang of speech. Please repeat. Please grant me the sacred Jenang of the body speech of Manjushri, who is inseparable from all the Buddhas 3 times, and the 3 primordial wisdoms and 3 bodies, and who is guide of living beings. Please grant me the sacred Jenang of the speech of Manjushri. Please grant me the sacred Jenang of speech of Manjushri. So you should think here about Buddha nature, the Tathagata Garbha. So think that you are Manjushri, that at your heart there is a yellow wheel with 6 spokes, at the center of which wheel is moon disk, on which your mind arises as the orange seed syllable D with a long visarga, 2 dots, which is on the 6 spokes are the 6 syllables of Arapatana, orange in color, forming a circle. Rays of light, like the rays of the moon, emanate from them. They fill your entire body and remove all darkness of ignorance. The rays of light emanate through the pores of your body to the outside, where they illuminate the ignorance of sentient beings. The worldly and supramundane type of wisdom in the form of primordial wisdom of the 10 powers of the Buddha, the special wisdom of the Bodhisattva, the wisdom of explanation, debate, and competition of Panditas, and so on, gather and dissolve into the mantra garland at your heart, through which wisdom, suchness, and extent and varieties is unrepeated, strengthened. Please repeat this. Om Arapatana-di, Om Arapatana-di, Om Arapatana-di. Let us recite this Arapatana mantra, 1 round of mantra. Om Mala. Om Arapatana-di, 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 Om Arapatana-di. Om Arapatana-di, Om Arapatana-di, Om Arapatana-di, Om Arapatana-di. Please repeat. Please bless, Blessed One, I'll hold on to the blessing of the mantra. Please grant it to me 3 times. The Lama places a flower at your crown while visualizing this. From the seated syllable at the Lama's heart, rays of light emanate, gathering the blessings of speech of all the Buddhas into the garland of the flower, form of the garlands of vowels and consonants. Vowels and consonants of Sanskrit language will dissolve into the flower at the crown of your head. Blessed One, I'll bestow the blessings of mantra on you. Please exert your guarding influence on them. So then the Lama says, please let all blessings of Manjushri enter the mental continuum of these disciples. Next is the Jenang of the mind. Please repeat these request lines. Please grant me the sacred Jenang of mind of Manjushri, who is inseparable from the Buddhas of the 3 times and the 3 primordial wisdoms of the 3 bodies, and who is guide of to living beings. Please grant me the sacred Jenang of the mind of Manjushri. So, thinking that the double-edged sword in the scripture of perfection and wisdom have the nature of Manjushri's mind, the Lama says, just as all the Buddhas cut the bonds of misconception. So with the wisdom realizing what is and is not, you imagine that all the ignorance within your mind are dispelled through this. So just as all the Buddhas cut the bonds of misconception, may the children here cut the bonds of misconceptions by giving them this sword. Just as all the Buddhas realize the way things are, may these children realize the way things are by giving them this scripture. And next is entrusting oneself to the deity. Just as the protector Manjushri is endowed with infinite good qualities which he manifests for the welfare of others, please grant me, a fortunate one, these qualities. You should repeat this. Please repeat. Just as protector Manjushri is endowed with infinite good qualities, please grant me, which he manifests for the welfare of others. Please grant me, a fortunate one, these qualities as well. Please grant. Just as protector Manjushri is endowed with infinite good qualities, which he manifests for the welfare of others, please grant me, a fortunate, these qualities as well. Please grant me, a fortunate, these qualities as well. Just as protector Manjushri is endowed with infinite good qualities, which he manifests for the welfare of others, may this fortunate, the fortunate ones receive these qualities as well. So next is Janang of the enlightened activities. The Lama explains that you should imagine that both the Lama and you have a four-spoked wheel of wisdom at your heart. At the center of the wheel are the mantra syllables Om Di. And on the four spokes are the syllables Pa Ra Pa Tsa Na. You should generate devotion to the Lama, which causes a replica of the mantra garland to separate from the garland at the Lama's heart. The replica leaves his mouth, enters your mouth, and dissolves in the mantra garland at your heart. Please repeat Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, into the visualization of these replicas of the mantra for coming out of the Lama's mouth, entering your mouth, and being placed at your heart. And please repeat Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi. Recite the mantra Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi, Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi. Omara Bhajanadi, 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 Omara Bhajanadi,
Namo Manjushri, Kumara, Bodhgaya, Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Mahakarunigaya.
So repeat this mantra.
Biranzi, Shuddha, Vishuddhi, Shuddha, Vishuddhaya.
Namo Manjushri, Kumara Bhutaya, Bodhisattvaya, Mahasattva, Ya Mahakarunikaya Tayatha, Om Araje, Biraje, Shrude, Vishuddhe, Shuddhaya, Vishuddhaya, Amale, Bimale, Nirmale, Jaya Bhare, Guru, Ruru Chale, Pepe Peswa. Please repeat. Namo Manjushri, Kumara Bhutaya, Bodhisattvaya, Mahasattva, Mahan Karunikaya Tayatha, Om Araje, Biraje, Shuddhe, Vishuddhe, Shuddhaya, Vishuddhaya, Amale, Vimale, Nirmale, Jayavare, Ruru Chale, Pepe Swaha. Namo Manjushri, Kumara Bhutaya, Bodhisattvaya, Mahasattva, Mahakarunikaya Tayatha, Om Ajite, Om Araje, Viraje, Shuddhe, Vishuddhe, Shuddhaya, Vishuddhaya, Amale, Bimale, Nirmale, Jayavare, Ruru Chale, Pepe Swaha. So the Lama shows you the hair and the base of the syllable D, which is at the root of your tongue. So with the hair of the D facing your throat or pointed to your throat, visualize emanating from the D, the purifying. Visualize light emanating from the D and purifying all the effects of your speech. Light also emanates from the heart of the Lama, gathering all the good qualities of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and dissolves into your speech. Please repeat this. Repeat the D as many times as you can. So, in this way, you have retained the jnana of the body and overcome the non-virtues of the body, such as killing. You should practice the three virtues of the body and not be separated from the meditation on the deity. So, on daily, you should meditate on Manjushri, as the praise to Manjushri says that he has a youthful form, is adorned with lamp of wisdom, and dispels the darkness of the triple world. So, you pay homage to Manjushri, being mindful of Manjushri every day. And so you have attained the jnana of speech and has overcome the non-virtues of speech, such as lying, telling lie. You should practice the four virtues of speech and not to be separated from the oral recitation of the mantra. And then you having received the jnana of mind and overcome the non-virtues of the mind, such as covetousness. You should practice the three virtues of the mind, such as refraining from covetousness and not to be separated from meditation on that which is endowed with the essence of emptiness, with the essence of compassion. So, please repeat these. Just, I will do everything the principal deity has advised. I'll do everything as the principal deity has advised. So this is following, keeping the pledge to follow the advice of the Lama. So with this you have received the jnana, blessing, permission, blessing of Manjushri, body, speech and mind of Manjushri, and you should recite the Arapacana mantra daily. So the first mantra that I have heard as a child was Arapacana mantra. When I visited Kumbhu Monastery, many small monks were reciting this mantra and doing prostrations, and I heard it from them the first time. So the first mantra that I've heard at that time was Manjushri mantra Arapacana, and then since then, through the blessing of Manjushri, the Venerable Noble Manjushri, I have been able to study and understand the text on Tantra and Sutras, contained in the Tripitaka. And then, having understood the teachings well, I've used it to tame my mind, and you should also keep in mind to do the same. And so next we have the reading transmission of the Medicine Buddha text that His Holiness wrote, has written.
사실은 두배 창아 젠도 나셔.
Please please repeat Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha. Please repeat Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha. Next, Om Mani Pe Me Hum, 6 syllable mantra. Om Mani Pe Me Hum, Om Mani Pe Me Hum, Om Mani Pe Me Hum. Next, Aryatara. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Next, Hayagriva. Ribenza Korta Hayagriva. Hulu Hulu Humbe. Shibenza Korta Hayagriva. Hulu Hulu Humbe. Shibenza Korta Hayagriva. Hulu Hulu Humbe.
मेरे सुमा तो टीवी सुमा रे का
This
मेरे सुमा पे से खोदो
You who, having perfected all that is realized to be realized in abandoned, excellently teach dependent arising, and fondly love the wretched migrants of great degeneration, I respectfully bow to you, O Blessed One, King of Shakyas. I reverently bow to you, the assembly of Sugatas, the medicine Buddhas, at the feet of the glorious King of an excellent name, and to the kind King of melodious voice, and at the feet of Sugata, pure, excellent gold, and to the sorrowless Sugata, and to the Sugata, proclaimer of Dharma, and at the feet of omniscient King, and the King of lapis lazuli, to the Dharma, which is actual supreme refuge, the true cessation and true paths of the three vehicles, the remedy pacifying the chronic disease of true suffering and true origin of transmigrators, the supreme lamp dispelling the darkness of ignorance, that is respectfully prostrate with three doors at all times. I take refuge, prostrate, and offer praise to the Sangha of Aryas and ordinary beings in the 10 directions, O Manjushri and Jabdru, and so forth, as well as to all objects of worthy of homage. You, the assembly of the 8 medicine Buddhas, today, by virtue of my other sorrowful and respectful mind, and by the great power of your generation of mind, your Bodhicitta, wishing for the benefit of transmigrators in great generation, do what you can so that what I am supplicating to becomes real, becomes true. Both myself and others, seeing that although equally wishing to be rid of misery and not knowing its cause, we constantly and unceasingly run only towards misery's cause itself. I pray, eliminate the problems of this time of degeneration and their causes. You, having removed all kinds of different unfavorable conditions which cause damage in the 3 realms of the world, rise up as billows from the sea. May all of us always live a life supported by Dharma, in wealth, virtue, happiness, having left not even name of those unfavorable conditions. Bestow on us your blessings so that all diseases caused by the power of karma and mental afflictions in general, as well as the lack of physical and mental conscientiousness, unprecedented illness brought about by the disorder of elements and the imbalance of elements, and the name of which, when merely heard, generate fear, anxiety, thoroughly disappear. We, having obtained bodies endowed with the 8 leisures and 10 opportunities, as well as all favorable conditions in order for the path of supreme vehicle to ripen correctly in our mind, the mental continuum, bestow on us your blessings so that the 2 aims of all migrators, ourselves and others, in all of our lives be spontaneously accomplished. And then the mantra, and then short mantra of this about Medicine Buddha, and final verse, I entreat you by the force of our praise and supplication prayers to you, wherever we are and others recite. As I began with this verse of auspiciousness in relation to the Buddha was not someone who appeared by chance without any causes and conditions, but came about through the practice of the path to enlightenment. And we also cannot become Buddhas without practicing the path. And so regarding myself, I have engaged in the study of the teaching of the Buddha and have through my practice attained the Bodhisattva path of accumulation, and I am hoping to tread on the path of preparation, the next stage. And so we should develop the path within, beginning with first study and developing the wisdom and understanding that is based on learning, and then develop the understanding and wisdom based on reflection, and then by repeatedly thinking, by using both the single-pointed concentration, combining both the single-pointed concentration and analytical meditation, both the resting meditation and analytical meditation, I can kind of infer that I will be able to tread on the path of preparation, the Prayoga Marga. So you should also have the same kind of aspiration to tread along the path to enlightenment, beginning with the attainment of the path of accumulation, going on to the path of preparation, and then on to the paths and grounds of bodhisattvas, the higher ones. Please repeat Om Taretu Tareture Swaha mantra for the long life of His Holiness. Recite the mantra yourselves, please. Thank you. This is the final dedication prayer of the great treatise of the stages of the path to enlightenment by Master Tsongkhapa. From the two collections, a vast space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be beheld. May I be held in your loving kindness for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of the complete graded paths to the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice, using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion. May I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path I have discerned. I have discerned them. May I hold the Buddha's teaching for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever directions the most precious teachings have not yet spread, and once spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted, bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this graded path to enlightenment traversed completely due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all humans and non-human beings may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for the practice of the excellent paths never be separated in all of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Homage.